Okay, all right. So for today's class, we'll be discussing or rather practicing on articles, right? Now, this is a very, very important part of the whole of your English learning, right? Now, why do I say that? Because there are certain elements in English that you cannot correlate with what you have studied or what you know of languages in general. That is, there are some things that you can, think about for in your languages, whichever they are, right? And then see to how it relates in English. But articles is one such topic which is difficult to grasp based on your understanding of your native language. And the reason being very simple, right? What's the reason? Reasons that we do not find such articles in our languages, right? Uh, at least the ones that we have in English, right? The three main ones, which is a, an, and the. Not the main ones, these are the three articles we use in English. And any such segment or entities is difficult to be found in our languages, right? We have other methods of specification of definiteness and indefiniteness to be shown. We have our own methods to do that, but definitely we do not have a system called articles in our languages to express that, right? Now, this also means if this is the case, then we need to really understand the concept and the use of articles in English in order to make a grammatical sentence, right? So, usually when you talk about articles, there are two main points that you need to keep in mind, right? Because this helps you to figure out how and where and when should a given article should be used, right? And two concepts. One, you already know because the name of these articles are like that. So one is called a definite article and the other is called indefinite articles, right? Two of them. The distinction between a and an is not a big deal, right? They basically perform the same function as far as the grammaticality is concerned. The only difference is that an is used with words which begin, right, with a vowel sound. But in terms of functions and in terms of its grammaticality, a and an work very similar to each other, right? The problem usually arises in choosing between whether we should use a or an or we should use the, right? There are some very straightforward rules that we can discuss with respect to usage of the. I mean, by discussing, I mean, you would have already heard about them in the lecture, right? The lecture mentions a few rules on the usage of a, and the, right? A and an and the. But if I'm going to categorize all the rules that you have heard, right, in the lecture, it's just basically two. One is that the is an article that you use only when you have something specific to mention, right? So its basic function is to show specificity. When you want to show that something is unique, something is specific in nature, something's function is very, very specific in nature, or something is mentioned very specifically, particularly, then you use the. All other cases will take a or an. Right? This is the simplest way to understand it. Only if I know that the noun that I'm going to introduce or the noun that I'm going to talk about is specific in nature, right? It has got some specific element to it. Then I would use the. Otherwise, usually the article to be used is a. And if a or an is not required, then I will not use any article. Right? So this part is tricky. A lot of people, if a or an doesn't fit, they'll just go ahead and add the there. So it doesn't work like that. It's not like either a or an or come or the will come. There are also cases where you do not have to actually use any articles. Right? So say, for example, I want to talk about somebody's nationality, right? Uh, and I have a sentence like, he is dash French, right? He is dash French. Now, tell me what article will you use here? This blank is to be filled with an article. He is dash French. What do you think is the right fit here? Will you use a or will you use an or will you use the?
That question number is not visible.
Question number, no, this is not a part of the question that you see on the screen. I'm just trying to ask you if you
Okay,
can
ma'am.
understand. Right. So he is
It,
dash French.
The
Which one do you
nationality
think?
will be there.
Sorry, you don't need an article, right?
Yes.
You
Why,
don't need
ma'am?
an article.
We
So
can say the nationality, no? I want
the
to know
nas-
the. I want to know the nationality.
no. That is not the question. The question was he was dash French. You can say I want to know your nationality or know the nationality. That is different. Okay. But in this sentence that we're talking about, he is dash French. You don't need any article, right? But let me put it the other way. He is dash
French
French.
means native place of French.
French is somebody who lives in
French.
France.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
France. Okay.
Okay. So now I have another question. If I say he is dash French citizen, the first sentence was he is dash French, right? And you said we don't need any article there. Now the second sentence would be he is dash French citizen.
The
So here why do you need the?
sorry.
Am I talking about any specific French citizen? No, right?
All will be there.
A is used. See, any case where you don't have to be specific, you're not intending anything to be specific in the context, will take A. And even within that, you saw one context where you actually don't require any article, right? But this particular situation is where you have to use A. Can you tell me why? Now you're saying he is French, but we're saying he is a French citizen.
He is one of the French citizen. Might
Sorry?
be. He is one of the French citizen.
He's one of the French citizen. Yes. So,
That's why. That's why A.
And what was the thing in the previous case? He is French. Basically, what's the difference between these two sentences? If I ask you in terms of meaning, I say he is French and then say he is a French citizen.
In second sentence, we're talking about the one single person there, I think.
In second one, you're basically saying one among the many, right? So you're introducing the aspect of countability there. So this is the second point. The first one is about specificity, right? Where you use the as opposed to a or an when you're going to be specific about something. Now, the second condition or the second function of the articles is to enable countability, right? So whenever you have to count or whenever the noun that follows is countable, then you're going to use the articles a or an. And of course, you know the condition, your noun needs to begin with a vowel sound, right? But yeah, in general condition, when you have something that is countable, you're going to use a or an. But in case you have plural nouns, right? You definitely cannot use a or an. A or an in countability context can only stand for singular entities, anything that has singular forms. So if you have plural nouns, then usually what is the process? Either you don't use any article, or if you want to be specific, then you use the, right? So this is what I meant. So in both the conditions, it's not like I want to be specific. I'm using a for countability. That means I'm going to use the when it is not able, when it is plural or when it is uncountable. That's not how it works, right? So you have to judge from the context. Countability, when that is what you want to show with the help of articles, then you check. Most of the times it is when you want to show that a given entity is singular in nature, right? For plural nouns, sometimes if you're going to show that it's a specific thing that you're talking about, then you can add the. But in case the specificity context does not exist, you omit the articles, right? You just let it be. You don't use anything. Okay. So only these two conditions actually put together the whole of the rules that you have learned in the lecture. They're all like little bit parts of the context, the specificity, countability context that I just talked about. But all of them can be crunched together in these two, right? You look at two things. You look at whether the given noun entity is specific. Second thing, am I going to talk about the noun entity present in terms of it being countable or uncountable, right? So that is how you decide whether article A goes or an goes or the goes. Correct? Okay. We'll do one thing. We'll start also doing the exercises. So meanwhile, if you have any doubts, you can think about it, something that you might have come across, and you can ask me. Okay. But do you understand this aspect of countability and specificity? Any doubts
Yes,
there?
ma'am.
Okay.
Understood, ma'am.
Fine. If there's anyone who hasn't understood that part, you can ask me. Okay. Right. Okay, the first question that you have here, right? I think there are at least 3 parts to it. So we'll do all of them one by one. Let's begin with the first exercise, right? The first question here, I want dash apple from that basket.
Ma'am.
Okay, so why would you use A? Why would you not use anything else? Why would you not say, for example, I want the apple from that basket? Why not the why A?
One out of many,
That
ma'am.
apples are similar, so
Common.
there is no specificity of a particular apple.
Okay. So why not
And
the? You can say A, of course. I want an, not A, actually an. I want an apple from that basket. But why would you say I will not use the?
Ma'am,
the apple
as,
is
as
Sorry?
there are many apples.
One out of many. In a basket, many apple will be there. So I want one apple.
It changes the
But
meaning.
where
It is
did you get it from? Where is it given that there are many apples in the basket? I want an apple from the basket is grammatically correct. I want the apple from that basket is also
Ma'am,
correct. Okay,
ma'am,
both would be.
we will be using the apple one when there is only one apple left.
No, so that
The
is what I'm saying, that the article the has got nothing to do with countability. That's exactly the point that I was trying to say. You do not decide whether I should use the based on whether something is countable or not, right? The condition required there is specificity, right? If I'm talking about a specific apple, then I'll use the. If not, I'll stick with a or an if the given noun is countable. If it is
Ma'am,
uncountable
the
or a
is
plural
singular.
noun, then I'll skip the article. Okay.
The is singular only by nature.
Similar in no, I don't get it. What are you saying?
Singular, ma'am. Singular.
What?
The
Is singular.
I mean,
No,
it is specifying only
not
a single.
always. Not always.
No. Okay. Ma'am.
So say if I say I want the water in the jug, is water countable? What is it, singular
No.
or plural? So it's an uncountable entity, right?
Yes.
So the is not singular always.
Yes. Ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so in the given case, what happens? You can use both. You can either use A, you can use the. In both cases, the answers would be correct, but the intended meaning would be different. Can you tell me what would be the meaning?
Now we are specifying with the and is any apple in the basket.
Tell me what would be the meaning in the case you use the apple. If I say I want the apple from that basket, what would it mean?
Means apple of a particular basket.
ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, we can assume that the basket has two or more kind of fruits. So the person is saying that I want the apple means he refers that he wants just apple.
Yes. Right. So when you use the, you're basically saying that there are other baskets with the apples, right? Or something else. We don't know. I want the apple from that basket means you're being more specific about the apples in a given basket, right? A particular basket, right? That's the idea. But when I say I want an apple from I want an apple from that basket. What's the meaning?
Okay, means that there are various baskets are there. That basket means particular basket.
Correct.
If the
Correct.
sentence is that from the
Ah.
basket means that it is a single basket there.
Correct. Single
Then
basket, and we don't know. Maybe there are more apples or there are other fruits,
Yeah.
whatever it is. There are some things in that basket, but I want an apple from that basket.
That
Okay.
that makes the difference there, I think.
Correct. So there could be other fruits, but there are definitely more apples there, for sure. Okay. The apple is not one, apple is 1 plus. Okay. So I want an apple from that basket. Okay. So this is the difference between using an and the in this context. See, remember, using both an and the is grammatically correct here. The difference is that we intend different things when we use a, an, or the. This is what you need to understand, right? Because structurally, all of them can fit in the same sentence. The reason for it to be wrong would only be that it is giving out a wrong meaning to the reader, right? That's how it is different. Now, let's look at the second one. Dash church on the corner is progressive. Dash church on the corner is progressive.
I think
The-
How about that?
The church.
Huh. So here it is again the. Now, why would you say the here? Why not
the
the
church,
a?
because the specifying the church at the corner.
Yeah. Exactly, right? It's
So-
very specifically said. Church on the corner. Very specifically mentioned, hence it has to be the. The moment you know that the context given is specific, then there's no point, there's no need of thinking too much. You'll definitely use the. Right? So the church on the corner is progressive.
Ma'am,
Third one. Yeah.
ma'am, we are specifying the corner. So anyway,
Huh.
corner is specified, so we can have a church on the corner.
A
Because
church on the corner is progressive. No. That doesn't give you any meaning.
ma'am, because
A church
anyway,
on the corner is progressive is a wrong sentence, grammatically wrong.
oh, ma'am, because I just wanted to know that anyway we are using the to specify the corner.
Huh.
So
Yeah.
so the church is on the corner, so the church which is in the corner is the same thing. Like, there is a church
Yeah.
in the corner.
No, so the sentence that you're saying is different from the one you see here, no?
Okay, what does a
You are
church
saying
on?
which is on the corner, right? But even in that case, you will have to use the, you will have to say the church which is on the corner or is in the corner. It can be
Oh.
different.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Prithvi, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in the second sentence, what is the meaning of the sentence?
What is the meaning of the sentence? Right. There are churches that are progressive and there are churches that are conservative, right? The ones that are very traditional in nature, they would be called conservative. The ones that are progressive, that's all.
So there will be
Means
in the
modern equipped with modern. I mean, it will adopt the modernity, right? This means progressive.
I don't know. I can't give you specificities about that. It depends on what sect of the church you're talking about. But the word progressive would generally mean someone who's willing to make changes based on the time. And yeah, you can say modern or other things, but they're not exactly, they don't mean exactly the same as what we think of them. So progressive would simply mean someone who's open to change, right?
Okay, ma'am.
As opposed to a traditional person who would stick with more traditional methods, who give a lot of importance to traditions, hierarchies, etc.
ma'am, so there will be in the blanks, ma'am.
In the blank, yes, you have the. Okay. Now, the third one, Miss Lin
Ma'am,
speaks that Chinese.
Ma'am, in general, we say progressive means ready to change.
Progressive is anybody who's willing to make changes according to the changing times or changing situations. Someone who's more liberal in it. Okay.
Let us say if someone is he got in earlier semester 60% marks, and in next semester he got
No.
70 or
Progressive
80.
is based. No, that person can't be for that. That you can say the person is making progress. But progressive is more like a philosophical or sociological term. Progressive here would mean someone who's open to ideas, not someone who just changed from something to the next. Not everything. It's about progressive ideas. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we can say that the parents from the old age or the older
Huh.
age periods, they are getting with the newer generation. So that we can say the progressive. It is the exact.
You can say progressive. Someone has progressive outlook, right?
Yeah.
These days, parents have progressive outlooks in terms of educating children, right? Something along that lines. Yes. Okay. Now, third one, Miss Lin speaks dash Chinese. I think we began talking about one aspect of this. Now, this is the second one. Miss Lin speaks dash Chinese.
I think no article.
Yeah, this is
The-
again a case where you don't require any article, right? The first case was where you would talk about nationality, right? He is dash French, he's French, right? You won't say he is a French or he is the French or anything. Similarly, when you are discussing nationality, language, okay, nationality is one case. Second case is when you have to discuss the language. Languages also generally will not carry any article with it, except if you are saying dash Chinese language. Okay, so say if you have a sentence like dash Chinese language is the second most spoken language of the world. Then will you just say Chinese language or will you say the Chinese language? What do you think is the right answer? Will you say the Chinese language is the most spoken language and second most spoken language in the world, or Chinese language is the second most spoken language in the world? How is it?
The Chinese.
Then you have to say the. Okay. So if the word language is also coming along the name of the language, then it is the Chinese language, the English language, right? But if it comes on its own, like in the case here, Miss Lin speaks dash Chinese, no article required. Miss Lin speaks Chinese. Okay.
The
Huh.
same you mentioned in the first sentence. He is
Yeah.
French. He is a French citizen.
Yes, correct.
It's similar.
No, this is not similar. This is different. We used a French citizen in that case because we were able to count, right? We're showing that one among the many French citizens. Here, that's not the case.
Oh, it is. But why are we using? Okay, for French citizen, there is some article, and for Chinese
Yeah, that
language,
is
we
clear.
have an article.
Uh,
So, what is the difference? Sounds
Difference between what?
like why do when anything is added, like French citizen is added, we
Uh,
are using an article.
No, it is not because of the sounds. It's because the context has changed. When I'm saying he is French, I'm simply introducing somebody as, so the importance is given more to the nationality. He is French. When I'm saying he is a French citizen, I'm basically saying that he is one among the many French citizens. Right? That's all. So there's a change in the meaning that is delivered. That's what we do when we use an article or we don't use an article.
And the second
Nothing is
sentence,
based on. Sorry?
this one, ma'am, the Chinese language.
Huh.
Can just explain the same way how
How?
Muslim.
So see, this is very similar to how you don't use articles for names of countries, right? Like India is a South Asian country, right?
Yes.
Or any country which has a singular names, whether that's China or Korea or Russia, whatever it is. If there's only one name to the country, or if you're using only one part of the name of the country, then you don't use any article with it. You simply use it without any article. But if you have a country which has a phrasal name, like for example, the United States of America, okay, or the United Arab Emirates, or the Netherlands, right? Whenever there is a plural part in the name of the country, or when there is a group of it is the name is more like a phrase, then you have to use the. This is a general rule that people use in English. right?
Oh, yes.
Huh.
Ma'am, and one more question. In
Yeah.
these two sentences,
Hmm.
French is he is a French citizen. French
Hmm.
is an adjective, ma'am, and citizen is the noun. Am I right?
Citizen is the noun, yes, right.
Okay. In Chinese language also, Chinese is adjective and language is noun.
Miss Lin speaks Chinese. No, in this case, Chinese is not adjective. In this case, it is noun. No, it's the
No,
name
no.
of the language.
The other sentence, Chinese language.
Yeah. Oh, in the Chinese language, that whole part is your. Oh, you mean? No. In that case, also it's the name. The Chinese language. The whole of that part stands for one name,
Okay.
not an
Chinese
adjective.
language is a noun.
Yeah. Yes.
There is
Definitely.
no adjective.
Anything that has a name, anything that can be named and it's an entity that you can refer to in the real world is a noun.
No, I mean, the sentence Chinese language, Chinese is adjective.
No. It's the name of the language. The Chinese language, the whole of that part has to be the noun. Chinese is also noun in that. You're
Chinese-
naming it, right? It's not adjective.
But in French citizen, French is adjective.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Yes.
You can call it a compound noun also, because in such cases you can consider both French. I don't know if this is for English 1 or English 2, I don't remember, but there's a lecture on this, how certain adjectives can act as nouns. So this French citizen is one such case. French or names of nationalities, languages are all such cases which double as nouns and adjectives.
Okay.
So in both the cases, we are talking about nouns, not
Noun.
adjectives.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ma'am,
Okay.
Tamil and
Yeah.
Tamilian. So Tamil is a language.
Yes.
So and Tamilian is a group of people.
The person who speaks Tamil.
That
Yeah.
yes. So that is a collective noun, right? Tamilian. What about Tamil?
Tamil is the name of the language. It's a noun, proper noun.
It's a noun.
Yes, it is noun. Anything that has a name is a noun. It has to be proper noun.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Fourth one. I borrowed dash pencil from your pile of pencils and pens.
Pile means
Pile means a group. Something similar to that. Pile of pencils. Like you say, bunch of keys, no? So it's a collective noun.
okay.
Yeah,
I
that-
borrowed a pencil.
I borrowed a pencil from your pile of pencils and pens. So one among, it's already very straightforward sentence. It already tells you one among the many, right?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
A or A, ma'am?
You can say a or a, not
Anything.
a problem. You can use anything. Yeah, it's
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
In Indian context, I think mostly people would use a. Some people would say a also, but both are right.
Okay.
So, ma'am, when to say or, when to say a?
No, that's what I'm saying. You can use anything you want. Say a or a, both are okay.
But grammatically, does it have any differences?
Grammar has got nothing to do with how you are saying it, right? A or a. Grammar is independent of how you're pronouncing a or a.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Now, fifth one. One of the students said, dash professor is late today. Dash professor is late today.
I think the professor.
So you could either omit the article here, say professor is late today, right? Or you could say the professor is late today. It does not make much of a difference in your understanding. When you say the, you're just giving it more specificity. You're basically telling the specific professor is late today. If you're omitting the article, then you're being more general about it because professor is late today. Okay. So these are cases where you can either choose between using the articles or just leaving it at that, because they don't bring about much difference to the meaning of your sentence, whether you use it or not. right? So in this case, some people would like to omit the article because they know if you're talking about professor, then it's a class and they know which particular professor they're talking about. So there's no need of unnecessarily adding the there, right? But some would say, since you know the specific context, add the, right? So you see both usages in English language where people use the, and some people would just omit it as well, omit the article also, right? So both would be right, the or not having any article. It's okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, in some context, the can it act as a pronoun?
Can it act like a, no, I
Like
don't think so.
if we are writing a paragraph, then we
No,
have
no. No. The is always an article. It does not double as a pronoun.
mentioned
It is more adjectival function. So articles generally have adjectival functions. They don't act as pronouns.
because if this pencil thing is there, I borrowed
Hmm.
a pencil.
Hmm.
Instead of that, we
Hmm.
write the pencil. And we have mentioned a pencil, orange pencil, we say, for,
Hmm.
for the example, say,
Hmm.
orange pencil, something active, some activity with the orange pencil. But that orange pencil, we have to mention in this sentence. I borrowed the pencil means the orange pencil.
Hmm.
Is it right?
No, it's definitely not a pronoun.
Okay.
You have just changed the article to suit the context of your sentence.
So it is
That
article,
doesn't mean it becomes pronoun. It is still an article.
but the sentence is right. I borrowed the pencil if it is suiting the context.
Of course. See, you can use a or the with all countable nouns, given your context is correct.
Okay.
A
Yes.
and the can be used with any countable noun. That's not a problem. The only condition there is whether you're being specific or you're being non-specific.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sixth one. Ailey likes to play dash volleyball. You will see a lot of special exceptional situations also, and this is one such case. Ailey likes to play dash volleyball.
Nothing, ma'am.
Zero article. Okay, names of games usually do not take any article. You simply write, Ailey likes to play volleyball. You don't have to say the volleyball or a volleyball. A volleyball, definitely not. Some people might end up writing the there, but that is unneeded. You really don't have to use it. No articles are used before names of games. Okay. But again, you know, the rule that we used for writing names of countries, what was that? Can you repeat that for me, one of you?
We don't use any article before a singular name of the country, like India or something. But if it is
Yeah.
collective or phrasal noun,
Yeah, then you'll use the, right? That's what
yes.
we do. So instead of the sentence we have here, right? Ellie likes to play volleyball. If I said Ellie would play dash game of volleyball, then what article would you use?
Yeah, or the, ma'am.
Yeah, you will use a, right? She will play a game of volleyball, right? Because now the article is associated with the word game, not volleyball. Okay, she'll play a game of volleyball, or say she'll play a game of chess, right? When the name of the game appears on its own, right, without anything, like in this case, she plays dash volleyball. That time you don't use any articles. But if you're introducing it as a game of something, then you'll use a game. Why? The reason being, it's countable now. Like you can have multiple games of chess, you can have multiple games of volleyball or basketball, whatever it is. It's countable, hence you're going to introduce the article used for that, which is a. So she plays a game of volleyball, but she plays volleyball. Got it?
Ma'am, in the case of names of country, when we use the before the phrasal names of country, is it
Yeah.
because of specificity, right? or is it any other?
No. That is a property that you've generally used because now the name is not a singular word. You have a phrase. Usually, when you have a phrase as the name of something, the general practice in English is to begin it with the.
The that is
Okay.
the logic there.
That is a logic.
It's
I
not
mean,
specific.
more than logic, that is the convention. That's the standard method they do it.
Okay.
That's why. Okay.
Because I had this doubt because in some movie they differentiate why India, why not the India, why the United States. So it is not specific city.
So these things are more by convention than any rule of grammar or rule of word. That's how they present it. Whenever you have the name, when the name is phrasal, then it usually begins with the. If it is just a single word, then we omit the. Okay.
It's not
But in the case,
specificity at all.
no, it's not because of specificity. But here, in the case of game of chess or just using the word chess, the difference is one is countable, but the other is not.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? The other, when you're not using any article, you're basically saying that I'm only naming this thing. And when I have to name something, I don't have to use any article.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
But
ma'am.
in the phrase where you use a game of chess, right? Here you're indicating that I'm talking about an entity that is countable. That's why A.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Okay,
how to
got
know
it?
what's the phrasal name?
How to know phrasal name? You'll have it as a phrase. No, it won't be just one word. You'll have a group of words together, like the United States of America.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the seventh one here. I bought dash umbrella to go out in the rain. Easy.
Oh,
You use a or
And
you'll use and, right? Because you have umbrella. It begins with a vowel sound. So you have to use an, right? Vowel sounds will always take an from a and an. Okay. That rule will apply here. Okay, any doubts there?
no.
This is probably one of the first rules that you hear when you're learning articles, right? A and an. So we use an here because of the presence of the vowel sounds. Okay, so an umbrella. Now, next thing here would be my daughter is learning to play dash violin at her school. This is also an important sentence. Yes.
ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, because of the presence of vowel sound or because of presence of vowel sound?
Because of
Presence of vowel sound or because of the presence of vowel sound?
what does that mean?
No, just now you
Because
said
of the presence of vowel sounds. Yes.
why the?
Because you're talking about a specific sound, right? That's why.
So we can say because of presence of vowel sound.
Because of presence, no.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Right. What was the sentence? My daughter is learning to play dash violin at her school.
Nothing, ma'am. No article.
She is learning to play. This has a rule that is opposite to that of the names of sports. So you will use the here. You will have to say, my daughter is learning to play the violin at her school. Okay. So there are different rules for all of these things. Names of musical instruments, usually they will take an article before it, and that's the definite article. But games and chess don't, right? A lot of this, the problem with the articles is also that there are a group of exceptions here, and we do not really know the reasons. But based on standard conventions of using them, the practice is to use the before names of the musical instruments, right? So, my daughter is learning to play the violin at her school, or my daughter is learning to play the guitar or the piano, right? Whatever the name is, you will have to add the definite article the before it. Okay.
If it is a dance,
No, there it does not apply. Dance in the sense, you mean
my
names of
daughter is
dances?
my daughter is learning to dance at her school.
My
My
daughter is learning
to
my
dance at her school.
learning to dance at her school will not require any article.
Okay.
There's no space for article to sit anywhere, right? Because to dance is a verb complex. No, it is an infinitive verb. To dance. We don't have any noun. So if you don't have any noun, then the question of articles don't arise. Okay. And yeah, okay, I think that is fine. Then ninth one, please give me dash cake that is on the counter. This is also easy.
The cake.
The cake, right? Again, this is very similar to the second question that we did, right? The church in the corner is progressive. Remember that one?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So this one is also very similar.
Ma'am,
Yes, yes.
let us say if there are a group of cakes are there, so we can also say, no, please give me a cake that is on the counter. Like 4 to 5 flavors are there, and I want one. I mean, out of 4 or 5, I want one only. So we can say, no, please give me a cake that is on the counter. No,
No.
why
Because
not?
once you've already specified that you are talking about the cake that's on the counter, the point of introducing a just goes away. You can't say, give me a cake on the counter or please
Yeah,
give me a cake.
on counter, ma'am.
Also, no, listen to me. It is not also because of that. You can't say a cake, right? Like you can't say a bread, right? So what would you say instead in English? You don't say, give me a cake, right? Usually what you say for cake?
The cake.
For bread, what do you say?
A loaf of
You could
bread.
either say a slice of bread or you could say a loaf of bread, right? So similarly, for cake, again, you will say, give me a piece of cake, not give me a cake. Okay. So if you're referring to, countability factor of the cake, then you will have to say a piece of cake. Here we don't have it, right? You're simply saying cake. That is one reason. And the second reason is also that it specifically mentions the what cake do they want, which kind or maybe which particular cake are they referring to. These are two reasons. Okay.
Cake is a collective noun.
No, it's not collective noun. It's the name of a food that you eat, but then again, further divisibility is possible, right? So nobody eats the cake as a whole,
Yes.
right? Usually. So, but still you can say you give me the cake on the countertop, right? Because maybe you're buying it for some party. But if you're talking about having a piece from that, then you definitely have to say a piece of cake. Okay, you don't say give a cake.
Yes.
Okay, Prithvi, you were the one asking this question, no?
About
No, I think he had a question. No, he was the one who asked, can I say a cake if I have many cakes?
yes.
Was it you?
The other guy.
Yeah, me, ma'am. Sachin Bharti.
Sachin, okay, yes. Okay, you got the point. We usually don't say cake we don't use it as a singular noun in English. Okay,
Ma'am, instead of cake, if biscuits or chocolate, then we can what we say?
please give me a biscuit that is on the counter.
Yes. Yeah.
No.
Give me a biscuit or give me a chocolate.
No, give me a chocolate that is on the counter. This would please give me a chocolate that is on the counter. You may, but I think the more specific answer or the more appropriate response to that would be using the. Okay.
Okay.
Because of the presence of this on the counter element. Because of the presence of that phrase, you will, the natural selection that would go there is the. If we did not have that, then you could have used it. Not a problem. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. But this one you keep in mind. Okay, it's good that you asked this question because um, it's an important part, right? Some of the products that we use, we usually don't. If they have to be used in the singular format, then we definitely have to mention either a piece or a slice or a loaf, something like that has to be mentioned. You do not, without which they would be not treated as something that can be countable. So cake is an example, bread is an example, right? Okay. Right. Let me scroll this a little bit. We have already. Okay. Next one. I lived on dash. Can you see the screen properly? Is it visible to you?
Ma'am,
Yeah, Prithvi.
ma'am, so for the previous question, we will be saying the cake on the counter.
The cake on the counter. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So 10th one, I lived on. Can you see the screen clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So 10th one would be I lived on dash Main Street when I first came to town. Again, names of streets, right? So usually when you're talking about the names of something, you don't require articles, right? You can simply write it without the article. I lived on Main Street when I first came to town. No article required in this case also. So keep this in mind if you're talking about the name of a noun, right? The noun you're referring to has a name, then think about it before you use the article, right? Most of them don't require an article, like names of countries, names of nationalities, names of languages, names of streets, right? Names of mountain, right? If it is a singular mountain, then you don't require any article. But if you're again, like in the case of countries, I said if it is introduced as a group of something, right? Like for example, the Netherlands or the United States of America, when there is an indication that a group of things have come together to form a country, right? The Republic of Korea, right? In such cases, you use the article the. Similarly, if you're talking about the ranges of mountains, right? The Himalayan ranges, right? Then you're going to use the article the. But if you're talking about just one mountain or one peak, right? Like for example, Mount Everest, then you don't use any article. You simply use it as the name in the of the mount without any article. Okay.
Is it somewhere something related to a countable noun, collective noun?
Collective noun, no. See, when something has a name, no, then it is specific by itself, right? You
Yes.
don't have to add any article to make it more specific,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So it can stand on its own even without using any article or showing any countability factor.
Okay.
But in the case of ranges, you basically are saying that there are many peaks within that ranges. You're only
Yes.
talking about the whole of that group, the
Yes.
ranges, right?
Yes.
There can be different peaks within that ranges. So those peaks will be used without any article, but the whole of the ranges when you're referring to the group, then you say the. Same like in the case of country, right?
Okay.
So let me then ask you one of the questions I wanted. Will you use articles when you're talking about islands, like for say Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Lakshadweep Islands? What would be the right way to say that?
Without an article.
Lakshadweep Islands or the Lakshadweep Islands?
Lakshadweep Islands.
Islands? I'm not saying island, I'm saying islands, right? Usually this thing happens to islands, you group of it. So Lakshadweep, is it the name of one island or it is the name given to a group of islands?
Group of islands.
Group
So
of islands, right? So you have to say the Lakshadweep Islands.
Yes,
Same
ma'am.
is the case with Andaman and Nicobar, right? It's the name given to a group of islands. It's not the name of just one island, right?
That means so Lakshadweep Islands are acting as collective noun.
No, it's not collective noun. It's just that there are this. It's not just one place that you're referring to. You're referring to a bunch of places together.
It's an
So not
area.
collective. Collective is a different kind of noun, right? A collective noun would be like a herd of elephants or a bunch of geese or shoal of fish, right? It's a large group. But here we are not extending large. See, look at the name Lakshadweep, right? What does it mean?
It's a noun. I mean,
It's a noun, but I'm talking about the meaning
Group
of
of
the
islands.
word Lakshadweep.
group
Right?
of islands.
Group of islands, Lakshadweep.
I mean, it's a noun, ma'am.
The translation would be
1,000
uh,
islands. A
no,
lakh
not
island.
thousand, a lakh,
Yes.
right? Lakh, yes. So, yeah, whenever there is a sense of plurality, you know that you're referring to a group of them together. You're not talking about one thing. In such cases, in all such cases, you're going to use the article the. Okay.
Okay,
Same
that
was the case for United States of America. Now, how many states in America? 50 states,
50.
right? Group of them together is called the USA. So but if you're going to take the name of just one state, like you say Philadelphia or you say California, there you're not going to use any article. You will simply use the name of the state. Okay.
No, how do we how do I write the rule, ma'am? Like, can you just spell
How do
the
you
rule?
write the? Sorry.
Can you just give a statement about this rule, ma'am? I'm not able to articulate. Noting down that.
About which one? This one.
Yes.
The names of places usually say there is no rule. Usually, when you're taking the name of something, you don't have to use any article. When I take my name or your name or the name of anything else, I don't have to use any article. It can stand on its own. But if you're using it to refer to a group of things, right?
Yes.
Then you will have to use the article the. Whether we are talking about people or mountains or states or countries or anything, right? A bunch of them together, it will take the article the. Yeah, Prithvi, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in the 10th question, I lived on, the person who is saying this question is so particular about the main street. So we cannot use
No,
the.
that particularity is already expressed by the name of the street. So you don't need any additional article to show particularity. It has a name, no? It has Main Street. So that much particularity is enough. The nothing is more particular than the name itself, right?
Yes, ma'am.
In the absence of which you will have to use an article to show that it's more specific, right?
Okay.
So that is the logic also. If you have a name, then it's a unique thing. You don't have to add anything extra to show particularity or specificity. Your name itself is the specificity that is being spoken of. Okay. So I lived on Main Street when I first came to town. Now, the 11th one, Albany is the capital of Dash, New York State. Now again, this is the name.
No article, ma'am.
No article. We don't require anything there. Is the capital of New York State, right? You don't have to add anything there. Names usually then will not take any articles unless, of course, there's any specific condition, right? 12th one, my husband's family speaks Dash Polish.
No article.
No article, right? Again, Polish is the name of the language, can stand on its own. You really don't have to add any article there. Next one, Dash apple a day keeps the doctor away. An apple a day, right? An apple a day. Now, here are we, can you explain a little bit why we use an here? One of you.
This
Vowel
sentence.
sound.
No, that is sure. An is used because of the vowel sound, I understand. But why do we use an besides that? An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Ma'am, in the sentence can be divided into two halves, ma'am. One is an apple a day and keeps the doctor away. So using the apple a day will not be correct because they're already specifying a day.
No, you don't have to divide the sentence into anything,
Countability.
especially not two parts, because we don't have more than one clause. There's only one clause here, so this divisibility is not possible. There's another reason. So, are we talking about countability here? An apple a day keeps the doctor
Yeah,
away.
single one.
Yes, right. So we basically saying an means one apple at least, right? That's the idea. So an apple a day, there is a countability factor. That is one meaning. But there's also a second meaning. Usually because these kind of sentences, they are not your regular sentences, right? They're more like sayings or proverbs or idioms sort of thing, right? So there's a generalizability principle to it. If you are saying something in general also, the use of articles like this would happen, right? Grammatically, you're saying that there's one apple. We're talking about one apple, so an apple. But it's also like a general statement, right? That is also an additional meaning that is attached to the sentence. So anything, if you want to generalize, again, in that case, you can use an, right?
Can you give one more example of similar type?
Yeah, of course. See, all those class nouns, no? I think this question keeps coming back for the live sessions, right? This tiger is a ferocious animal, that particular example, right? So when you say a tiger is a ferocious animal, what are you trying to say? There are two meanings to it. You're speaking about a category of
Means what, ma'am?
ferocious animal. Sorry?
Ferocious means what?
Ferocious means a very fearful animal, dangerous animal.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Did you not come across this sentence in your practice assignment? I think you should have. This is one among the most confusing sentences that usually has come for discussion, right? So you can use, so when I say a tiger is a ferocious animal, what is the meaning? Tell me that.
Straight sense, it means that tiger is
Yeah, it means
aggressive.
a tiger is one among the ferocious animals. Are tigers the only ferocious animals? You have other ferocious animals, right? So when I say a tiger is a ferocious animal, I'm saying, okay, this is one category of animals that's ferocious, right? Additionally, it will also have the same countability factor, like what we saw in an apple a day keeps doctor away. An apple. So one apple. A tiger, one tiger.
At least a tiger.
Okay. So both the meanings would apply here. A general meaning and also the countability meaning. Got this?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So keep practicing these things once in a while so that you're more familiarized with this meaning. So like I told you in the beginning, with articles, the major part that you need to grasp is what is the meaning of the sentence that you get after you use a, an, or the. What are you using is a secondary thing, but more important is after I use a or an or the, what is the meaning that I am deriving out of it, right? That's more important than anything else. Okay. Next one, dash ink in my pen is red. Dash ink in my pen is red. This is specific, right?
The
ink in my pen is red.
Correct. The ink in my pen is red because you're talking specifically about the ink in my pen, right? The ink in my pen is red. 15th one. Our neighbors have dash cat and dash dog.
Our neighbors have a cat and a dog.
Our neighbors have a cat and a dog, right? Nothing specific. You're simply saying that they have both cat and dog, and since both are countable entity, it is important that you use the article a with it, right? A cat and a dog. Okay, 16. Robert and Jessica went to dash party last night.
Robert and Jessica went to the party.
The party.
Went to?
Both we can say.
You can use both, right? You can either say a party last night, being unspecific about what party it was, or you can also use the alternatively. The difference would be that it would mean that the party which they went to is a familiar one, the one that the speaker knows of, right? So Robert and Jessica went to a party last night is correct. Robert and Jessica went to the party last night is also correct. Okay. Now, 17th one. Can you tell me how to get to cinema from here?
The
Get to the cinema.
Right? Correct. How to get to the cinema from here. Why?
Because it is specific. Because
Yeah,
you're
we are talking
asking
about definitely the specific one, right? So basically you're asking direction. So it has to be more specific. It can't be any place. So the cinema from here. Cinema here refers to the theater, right? Okay. Dash college is closed today.
the
The college, right? The college is closed today. Okay, so one more thing here. If you are talking about a class noun, right, or which is also known as the common noun, mostly articles are applicable to the common nouns, right? Proper nouns because they have unique names to themselves. We generally do not use articles with them, unless, of course, you're referring to a group of things like we discussed. The articles part is more commonly applicable to the common nouns or the class nouns, right? How about abstract noun? Do they take any article? Like, you know, happiness or love or strength or something of that sort. Do they take articles? Abstract noun?
no, ma'am.
No, right? And what is the reason?
Because there's no countability and specificity.
There is no countability or specificity associated with abstract noun. Let me ask you a question. You have a sentence like, love is beautiful, okay, or love is wonderful. Do we have to use an article here? Do we have to say a love is wonderful or the love is wonderful? Or do you simply say love is wonderful? No.
No article. Love it.
No article, right? So love is again an abstract noun. You don't have to use any article. But in case I say, dash, mother's love gives you a lot of strength. Will this one have an article or will this not have an article?
The is used.
Dash, mother's love gives you a lot of strength in life.
The, ma'am.
I think
The mother's love. But why are we making it specific?
Mother's love.
Among different
Mother's
types
love
of
gives
love.
you.
It is a
So
known
the, you will
known-
not use the for sure, but the choice has to be between a mother's love or simply mother's love.
Mother's
Which one
love.
do you think? Will? Okay.
Mother's love.
Anybody who okay.
Mother's
Okay.
love.
Anyone? Got it. Got it. Anybody who says it has to be a mother's love?
But the can't be used.
Both are okay. Okay. If both are okay, then what are the implied meanings? Because see, both are abstract nouns, right? In case of love and mother's love, we are still pointing towards the noun love, right? Except the second thing, we have made it more specific. We have said mother's love. Now, because it is specific here, we don't have to use the anymore. But the question is whether we can use a or not. You think about it in your language. Would you be able to say it using the whatever the facility for article is in your language?
And can we say a mother's love if it is generalized like an apple? In that sense, can we use like an apple a day keeps the doctor away? In that sense, we can use a mother's love. We can say a mother's love is
Yeah. So see here, if you're referring to mother's love as a class, like you talked about a tiger, right? So there are many loves, but one among that love is mother's love, right? So if you're looking at it in that sense, then you have a mother's love. A mother's love can, or a mother's love, whatever, a mother's love can give a lot of strength in life. So what am I doing here? I'm basically saying there are many other loves. This is not the only one. But a mother's love can give strength in life, right? So I'm making it more of a class now. Okay. Got a difference? Any confusions? Yes, no? What happened?
Clear, ma'am.
Clear? Okay.
Ma'am,
Huh.
ma'am, let me say a sentence.
Huh.
Dash peace must be maintained throughout the world.
Dash peace must be maintained throughout the world. Okay.
The peace or a peace, ma'am. Here, the peace can be used.
Do we need any article here? Peace must be maintained throughout the world is enough, right? Why would you say the or a? You definitely not use because peace is what is an abstract noun. So it is not countable, hence you're not going to use a. But even if you have to use the peace must be maintained is not required. It's unnecessary. For abstract nouns, in general, we don't use any article. Like the first example I gave, no, love is beautiful. Doesn't
Yes.
require anything. Yeah. Peace must be maintained all through the world or throughout the world is the right way to use it. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Fine. So I hope you've understood that question on love. Okay. So if it is categorizable, then you can go ahead with the use of the indefinite article a, right? Like a mother's love. But if you're referring to that in general, an abstract noun, then you don't use anything like love. Love is wonderful, beautiful. Okay. All right. Where are we? College is closed. Okay. Gregory is one of dash strangest people I know. The. Okay. Now, what is the rule here? You've used the superlative form of the
Degree.
adjective. So, if you're saying something is strangest, then that has to be the unique thing about it, right? The tallest can only be one, right? So, to highlight that aspect, you use definite article the along with superlative forms of adjectives. So, all the EST forms of adjectives will definitely have the tallest, the strongest, the largest. Okay. Okay. I recommend you try dash tomato soup at this restaurant.
Yeah, ma'am.
Which one?
Yeah.
I recommend you try a tomato soup at this restaurant. Okay. But it has an additional information at this restaurant.
Specificity.
Wendy.
The specificity, right? So you tried the tomato soup at this restaurant, right? I can say you tried tomato soup. That is fine. Okay. But because at this restaurant is there, it's making the context more specific. So try the tomato soup at this restaurant. Okay. Next, dash beer is not good for you. We'll finish this one. I think there are about 10 more questions, 9 more questions, and then close. Dash beer is not good for you.
Beer is not good for. No article.
Sorry? No article, right? Yeah, it's the name of the drink, so we don't require any article there. Beer is not good for you. Would you like to see dash film? Sorry?
Would you like to see the film or a film?
So,
Specificity,
correct,
no
yeah.
specificity.
So if you're referring to a specific film, then you can say, would you like to see the film? Or if if you don't mean anything in specific, any film is what you're referring to, then would you like to see a film, right? So both a and the can be used based on what you're indicating, right?
So
Specific or non.
specific, ma'am. Specific means would you like to say the Hindi film, or would you like to see any name of the film? Especially
No, so even if you're using Hindi film, no, you can use a or the. You can say, would you like to see a Hindi film, or would you like to see the Hindi film? Both are correct.
Yeah, so when to say the Hindi film or the English film, when that's what you say, both are correct.
That is when, so if you're mentioning the language as the specific factor here, then it would mean that you have films from more than one language, and you're asking the person, would you like to see the Hindi film, not
Okay.
the films in other language, right?
Or say example of a film, a film.
A film means you have many Hindi films. You're referring to one among that Hindi films. Okay.
Can you elaborate more? Because by giving the name, it is difficult either it is Hindi movie or Tamil movie, no?
No, it is not. Maybe you're not familiar with the usage, that's why you're finding it difficult. But the meanings generated are these. Okay. So see, when you say a Hindi film, again, what you are trying to do is you're trying to, draw specificity along adding the word Hindi to it, but that is not how it works. The meaning generated is different. When you say the Hindi film, it simply means that you and the person who's listening to you know about that film, and that is what you're talking about. When you don't use the and instead you use a, you basically are saying that you or the other person are not specific about any particular Hindi film. It could be any Hindi film. Right. That's the meaning generated. Okay. So when you're adding, it means that both the people know which film are you talking about. And when you don't do that, it just means that you don't know what the movie is. It could be any movie. That is the meaning would be same irrespective of whether you use the word Hindi or not, or instead of Hindi, you use some other language. Whatever adjective you keep adding to it, or whatever adjectival noun you add to that complex, the meanings don't change.
Okay. Ma'am, just correct me if I'm wrong. Can you say, would you like to see action film or romantic film? Is it correct?
Would you like to see? No, in that case, you will say, would you like to see an action film?
Okay.
Or would you like to see a romantic film? Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All cases you will require an article, right? Because the moment you have a noun in question that is countable in nature, definitely you will have to think about the possibility of adding the articles, right? Yeah. Any question?
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Ma'am, can we use they before plurals?
Can you
Plural
use the
class
before
or-
plurals? Yes. If you're talking about a specific plural, then you can use the.
But it is definite article, right? So
Definite article,
how
yes.
can we use
So say, for
the
example, I say, the boys on the second floor are very noisy. So boys is plural, and I'm making the boys more specific by adding the, because I'm talking about the boys on the second floor. Okay. If I
but it is
simply say
not
boys, then I'm
mentioned
generalizing.
before.
Sorry?
But it is not mentioned before. If we use the class noun for the first time, then we have to use a.
When you're using it for the first time, yes, you have to use, no. In plurals, you don't use a, no. Why will you use a for plurals? A is something
For
that is,
plural, we don't use.
plurals, we don't use a. The only thing you can use among the articles is the, and that is also when you are specific. You want to be specific.
But reasonably, they is a definite article. It is used to define about some unique things in the world, like river names, islands, like that. So how can we use it before plurals?
No, there is nothing like that. You will have to revisit the lesson again. There is no general rule like the can be only used with things that are unique. It can also be used with things that are unique to show uniqueness or discreteness, right? But the has other usage. The most common use of the is to show specific context, right? You watch the lecture again, you definitely might have missed some parts of it. So it's nothing like you cannot use it with common noun. In fact,
my
that's what I
school
told
days,
you.
I learned like that.
Sorry?
In my school days, I learned like that.
No.
My teacher
You need
used
to
to say
unlearn that.
mostly these used before like universal things. So, so, so
No, you will have to unlearn that. That's not how articles work. Names are something that does not usually require any article because, like I told you, the names themselves are the unique factor. Why would you use an article unnecessarily for something that already is specific? Right. Which is why articles are mostly found around the common nouns or what you call as the class nouns, because that is where you have to be concerned about, whether I'm talking about this specific one or the other one or in general. If you have names, there's no problem. You simply use the name and be done with it. These issues arise when you don't have anything else to name it and you're using a common noun like, tigers or pandas or dogs or apples. We don't know. We are not naming it. We are referring to common nouns. That's where we use the articles most. Okay. All right. Let's go through these also and finish. It's already like really late. This one we have already seen. I can't believe I failed dash yesterday's test 24.
No article, ma'am.
I can't believe I failed yesterday's test. Okay, no article required. Okay. 25th one, do you have dash dictionary that I can borrow?
Ma'am.
A dictionary, right? Do you have a dictionary that I can borrow? You could also use the if you are very specific about the dictionary that you want, right? But otherwise, the general answer or the general way to ask this question would be to use the article A. Do you have a dictionary that I can borrow? Okay. 26. There were many dogs in the park. One dog was dash Dalmatian.
The
Ma'am.
the
Ma'am.
Do you need anything there? It's the name of the breed, right? Can we simply say one dog was Dalmatian? Name of a breed, right? So usually you don't require it before, unless you are using it to refer to one among the Dalmatian. You don't have to use article here. You're talking about the name of that particular dog, the breed of that dog. So you can simply say one dog was Dalmatian. Okay. 27. Pandas and dash tigers are both endangered animals.
no article.
No article, right? No article. Pandas and tigers are both endangered animals, right? So usually we don't use any articles for plural nouns unless, of course, you want to make it specific, right?
Ma'am.
So pandas and tigers are both endangered animals.
Ma'am.
Magda is, yes,
No, ma'am.
we'll finish this and then ask so
Okay,
that, if there are people who want to leave, they can go, no? Because we have been holding some of them back for a long time. Magda is wearing dash blue dress with red shoes.
Ma'am.
The
Is wearing. So again, the or a. Okay, if you know the dress specifically, if you're talking about a specific blue dress, then the blue dress, or else you can say a blue dress with red shoes. Okay, so a or the. 29. Bornholm is dash island in the Baltic Sea.
Ma'am.
Island, you have what? What sound? You have vowel sound. So
An.
an island, right? Bornholm is an island in the Baltic Sea. The last one here. Christmas comes once dash year.
Oh, yeah.
Once a year. Okay. Once a year. In certain varieties of English, they also accept an, but for our course, we are going to use a, right? Because year, the first sound you hear is year, which is a consonant sound. Hence, we are going to stick with a. Okay. But I'm telling this because you might find at a few places, some of them, especially I think the American, North American dialect of the English, they have a tendency to say an year, an. So For us, we'll keep this as A, right? So because the natural answer for this is here is a consonant sound, hence we'll use A. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Now, rest of you, if you want, you can leave. But if you have questions, you can stay back. Okay.
Ma'am, can I ask the
Yeah. You
23rd
just go
question?
ahead. Ask. No problem.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in
Yeah.
the 23rd question,
23rd.
the
Okay. Yeah.
the first
Oh, that is
blank
the
will
an
be
apple a day. Yeah. Okay. Hmm.
an apple a day, ma'am.
Hmm.
Keeps
Hmm.
the doctor away or keeps doctor away. Both can be correct. Ma'am.
Keeps doctor away. Keeps the doctor away. May be grammatically right, but it's a very it doesn't make sense otherwise, right? Keeps the doctor away. Which specific doctor is going to be kept away by eating apples? It doesn't have any. Doesn't give you any proper meaning. So we stick with not adding any article, right? Keeping it general. An apple a day keeps doctor away.
Ma'am, can there be a situation where an is not required? Apple a day keeps doctor away.
No, no.
Okay.
That has to be used in all contexts. An apple a day keeps doctor.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Any other questions, anyone?
Ma'am, last question.
Hmm.
This sentence is complete. I mean to say, it should not be like Christmas comes once in a year or once in the year. Is it not correct?
Christmas comes once a year is correct. Yeah. That sentence is fine.
Once in a year or once in the
You can
year?
say, you can say both. You can say once in a year, you can say once a year also. The meaning is same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, this is a English one. This is only English one subject.
This is English one. Are you not from English one?
Ma'am, I'm a qualified student, ma'am.
Yeah. So then you are from English one only, right?
So after, I mean, if I pass the qualifier examination, then same thing I have to study or what?
Your
It's just a
qualifying exam, but aren't your exams done?
yes, 25th yesterday.
Right. Yeah. No, you don't learn the same thing. You have the rest of the thing. No, you only have the first 4 weeks of lectures for the qualifying exam, right?
Yes, ma'am. So it's like a school examination or what? Like grammar. It will be only grammar or like some passage or like
See, in
writing
terms
letter.
of testing your skills, we don't have provisions to check your speaking or writing skills since descriptive is not a part of the exam structure. So for that, you will mostly be getting these kind of descriptive questions based on grammar or even the other lectures that you hear, right? But as far as the modules are concerned, there are lectures on listening, speaking, reading, and everything. But it's just that we won't have practicals for them. Okay.
Okay. Ma'am, one more thing. For this exam, let us say if one subject is English one, so for that I need not to come to IIT Madras. It will be online. Final exam.
All your exams are online. I don't think unless you have a lab component or practical element to that, you won't have to be on the campus. Whichever ones you're required to do, no, they'll communicate it to you separately. Otherwise, all the exams happen at the centers in an online mode.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. We'll stop here. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in. We'll meet next week again. See you all.
Thank you.
Okay. See you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.